Humanity! I love you all with all my heart and all my might. I'm Jam, Jose Alonso Molina. Infinite energy potential of zero. Zero is the beginning of all creation. Then the visual goes into how is it that zero is the stabilizing agent of infinity. At the very epicenter of the singularity is what forms the singularity. That's why zero is infinity, because it's the stabilizing element. It is the number, if you think in terms of mathematics, that sustains all the other numbers. And that's why zero is the first number, because it's the beginning of all creation. You see? Is the beginning, is that neutral state that is always the same, and that's why when you divide any number by zero, it gives you infinity, because it's everything within it. That's why it's the beginning of everything. So once you understand what zero is, then you can understand what zero means, which is the sphere, because 2D mathematics is the number zero, but when you map it out into reality, the 3D world, this is what we call the 3D world, which in reality is infinity, is solidity, what we are, creation, then it's not longer a zero, it's a sphere, because it has energy in it, it's an energy field, right? And that, like everything in reality, contains everything within itself, because it's zero, the number is zero. So the visual, essentially, the way I designed it is, so it's the axis. So if you think in the 2D plane, like a Cartesian plane, is the X and Y axis, and the singularity is that in the epicenter, which is that point where all the different states of zero come together as one. The polarity of it, the negative charge and the positive charge, right? Coming together as one. Both axes, X and Y. So it's, X0 and minus X0. Y0 and minus Y0. So those are the four, right? In terms of axis. So you see the visual, and then right at the epicenter is the beginning of everything. And then if you map it out, all the other numbers will come with their own polarities, 1 to infinity, right? But then that's it. And energy is that. So if you want to map it out in a circuit, it starts with zero, right? Binary, 0 and 1. Zero is that logician, is the stability. Because if you only have one, you just have noise, energy just going, current. But if you add zero to it, then you can map it out. You can have a topography. You can have a geometry and it's spherical in nature, because energy is infinite. And once you understand that zero represents that, then you can understand why everything makes sense, and spheres are the representation of zero numerically. So it is beautiful. So the visual essentially is that. So zero is the beginning of all creation. Everything starts with zero. It's the first state of creation, is the beginning, is the genesis. And the visual explains that it's quite long. So because these are short videos, I want to keep the video short, within 5 minutes or so, and then you can watch the video of the visual so you understand what I mean. So you have all different states of the charges and polarity of zero, mathematically speaking, from a polarity point of view, from a charge point of view, as a Cartesian plane. So you can see mathematically what that means in a circuit. Binary, ones and zeros, right? Energy. But the state of zero, what zero represents at that state, which I have spoken about before, but now this is when I'm explaining why is it that zero is the beginning of everything. Energetically speaking, which is everything, because we're all energy. And everything emerges from that. The singularity, life, consciousness, self-awareness, love, everything that exists. The prime mover, which is the beginning of everything, the first move, right? 1 divided by 0 as the epicenter of a sphere, pi and phi coming together and having this beautiful thing. But this is the beginning. Zero is the beginning. So it's all possible because of zero. And so we map it mathematically with that number, which is the first number. Okay, that's why it looks like a little in the 2D looks like a circle, but in reality it's a sphere, which contains everything. So that's 0. And then there is a little bit of a short definition here. So I'm going to read it. So singularity, singular point where all spherical nodal points meet, the energy potential of the sphere's surface, the space vacuum structure field itself, and its telemetric electrogravitics. All these gets released and fills a spherical vacuum threshold, generating an oscillating singularity spark that leads to an infinite self-recursive feedback loop pulse cycle. And this is energy's creation, it's like the heartbeat or the sun and the singularity of everything. So this is what 0 is the beginning, is that point, the singularity. I love you all.